this congratulatory message.
D-Wade, I just want to say congratulations to you, man, on getting your jersey retired. I mean, am I really sitting here congratulating you on something that we both knew that was going to happen when we were sitting at pre-draft in Chicago? I mean, I feel like as soon as the Miami Heat drafted you and said Dwayne Wade out of Marquette, that the name and the jersey was going up in the rafters. I mean, I really should be sitting here wondering, like, I mean, when that statue going to go outside American Airlines Arena? Congratulations, my brother. Love you.
It's the 6th jersey to be retired by the franchise, 5 Heat players, and we also have number 23 for Michael Jordan retired as well. But I do think they are going to put a statue outside of American Airlines.
I don't know why I remember this. I remember Dwayne Wade getting drafted because at the time college basketball was much bigger than it is today, and I remember watching Dwayne Wade in college, and I remember being on the air and saying, I don't think he can shoot. I know he looks like a running back. I remember saying this. He's a great athlete, but I don't think he can shoot. And then Pat Riley took him like 4th, and then you're like, okay, Pat's smarter than me. And I remember early in his career, the knock on Dwayne Wade was he plays too hard, and he's always on the deck. He's always falling, and that was a criticism of Michael Jordan early, that he's going to get hurt. Remember, Michael broke his leg early. Dwayne Wade's interesting. He really was always kind of true to what he is. He was a great athlete, incredibly physical, an energy guy. I still don't think he was a great mid-range shooter, never a great three-point shooter, but I'm not sure if there's, in the history of the NBA, has any player under 6'5" played as big?
No, I mean, he has records to prove, like the amount of blocks that he has.
It's incredible.
Steals, like he has records to prove that he did play much bigger than he was.
You know, Barkley's only 6'5 and a half, 6'6". Barkley at forward would push around centers. Dwayne Wade plays bigger than any player of his size in league history.
But all those adjectives you used to describe him is what his game really was, and that fits, you know, the type of player that Pat Riley wants and builds his franchises like, and that's
tough.
Kind of similar to, you know, the energy that this current Miami Heat team has as well, which is why I really like the way that they're turning in the future, the way that they're drafting. And
play hard, practice hard.
Yeah. I mean, he's responsible for the culture that Miami is. I mean, obviously, you know, great players, Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, but Wade is really, I mean, it's Wade County, so it's cool to see that them retire his jersey, and he is going to get a trophy one day. So Des Bryant hasn't played in the NFL since 2017, but he is still a trophy statue. He is still working hard to make a comeback, and he got one of the league's best to help him train. Des was seen catching passes from your guy, Patrick Mahomes, in Fort Worth over the weekends. Now, obviously not too much to overreact to. He's running in shorts, but I do think it's a good thing that he's still putting out there that he wants to come back, and working with Patrick Mahomes is a good look.
You know what I thought about watching this video? So Des Bryant, and I tell my daughter this all the time, find yourself in college. Be ready. Once you get that diploma, be ready to go. You may never get a better offer your entire life. You're cheap, you're out of college. The next Amazon, the next Microsoft says, oh, she's 20, we can mold her, we don't have to pay her a ton. Des Bryant did not take his first 3 to 4 years in this league as seriously as he should. The Cowboys had to hire a security firm. He was out. He didn't really run great routes. And then all of a sudden, Des looks up later and it's like, okay, I've gone 7 years through this. I'm not as fast. And now I think, deep down in the recesses of his mind, I wonder if Des thinks, man, I wasted about 6 years. Because not all players in pro sports come in at 21 and they're grown-ups. They are ready to commit. I feel like Des blew about 6 years of his league.
Well, I think he had a great career, but yeah, everyone matures at a different pace. And
yes.
Yeah, of course, like that. I mean, I'm sure you can look back on years of your life. I certainly can. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, maybe if I had done a little bit less of this and more of this, I'd be further along right now than where I am. But then also that kind of takes away from your experience, right? Like, you appreciate who you are today. I appreciate who I am today. So I had to go through those things to get to where you are right now. So I think Des had a great career. I think he feels like he has a little bit more left, and maybe he can have some value on a team. Obviously, he's not going to be the same guy he was, say, 6 years ago. But, we've seen throughout at least this season the value of having a veteran receiver on your team if they're ready to play that role. A championship level team that just needs that piece and that vet or that, that person in the locker room. And if Dez can become that,
I
then
think
that works for a team.
The market is so flooded with wide receivers.
That's the only thing is that especially this draft is going to be, everyone's calling it the wide receiver draft.
25 years ago, we all knew that one kid that was really into tech, and he was unique. Now the market's flooded with people who know tech, so you can't be a headache. Like the market's flooded with young people who are great with tech. I just think that we've got a time and space in America football. There's receivers everywhere. I watched the next NFL game this weekend, and I'm like, those guys are borderline NFL. They're everywhere.
I just like to see Dez end his career on a high note and get another opportunity. Finally, after about 5 months of having elbow surgery, Ben Roethlisberger is back to throwing the football. He met with doctors on Friday and was cleared to begin throwing for the first time since September. The Steelers posted a short video of Ben getting some reps in over the weekends.
Very short.
Here, yes. Well, he's inside of a facility. It's kind of, yeah.
Ben's always relied on his talent. He's never been what you would call a weight room
warrior.
Grind. No, the knock on Ben from people inside that organization that I've heard is, Ben's never been in the best shape. He's just naturally
talented.
Yeah, he's more of a lunchroom warrior. He's not a grinder. And so I'm very interested to see, Joy, how his body responds to this, because the better shape you're in, the better you respond, and the quicker you respond to injuries. Ben's never been the great workout warrior. He's just really gifted.
I am interested to see what the Steelers do about Big Ben this year, because obviously they're all in on him coming back. And we saw what happened with the backups this year. I don't think it's the worst idea to try and make a move for a stronger backup if you're Pittsburgh, because Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges are not it. And if Ben is not what he needs to be this year, if they had, say, a Teddy Bridgewater or Andy Dalton, like you know what I mean? Like one of these backup quarterbacks that you feel like could carry you, they would be in the playoffs this season.
I predicted Cam Newton. He's the most Ben-like of all.
I think Cam would be great. But, how can you make that work? I don't know. But they do need to find out what's next at the quarterback position, because either way, how many more years do you have with Ben?
If you're not, Brady has lasted, and mostly because Brady has put in the time. So those nicks and those cuts and when you have to take a step back for a week or two in the NFL season, Brady rebounds because he's in such ideal shape. Ben's not. I told you this. My prediction is he's not going to be really ready in September. And I keep reading reports. He's great. This is a guy that's never been Mr. Nutrition.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either.
That's not his reputation in the league. His reputation is God touched him with an arm, a body, size, toughness.
Well, you can't deny his talent.
No, that's not even debatable. No, his talent's absurd. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
I was very lucky. My first job out of college, I did an inning of play-by-play, but I landed in Las Vegas, a great first place to have a first job, and boxing was massive in America. Sugar Ray Leonard, Hagler, and Hearns, and Roberto Duran, and Mike Tyson was emerging a few years later. I always felt very lucky, and this weekend made me reminisce about the heavyweight division. I'll give you my thoughts on the best heavyweights of all time and how they're all so unique. That's coming up next. With home security, there's two ways to really protect your home. There's the, of course, traditional way where you wait weeks for a technician to do a messy installation, and it costs a small fortune. Or there's the way I prefer, Simply Safe. Okay, everything you need in home security. Award-winning protection, two-time winner of CNET's Editor's Choice Award. It blankets your home in safety. Comprehensive protection, outdoor cameras, doorbell alerts, anybody approaching your home. You have entry motion glass break sensors guard inside, and you don't notice it's there. It's remarkable. 30 minutes to an hour tops. No trade-offs for safety. 50 cents a day with no contract. Now, go to the website. Nick Wright and I were talking about this. Nick Wright put this into his place in New York. He's like, the website, he goes, I'm not a technical guy. You know, he goes, I can't figure out a screwdriver. He said, you go to their website. It is just so informative. You don't have to be somebody who's great at installing things. They really simplify it. SimpliSafeColin.com today. Free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. SimpliSafeColin.com.